we do have some things to talk about here to wrap up the show, Ethan. I know normally we do a game flow, we talk about a game, we're done, but we have a little bit of Spurs news. First of all, Serge Ibaka Rice is now just an Austin Spur. I'm glad we kept him on the G League team. I am happy about that. It'll be nice to still see him there. I don't know if he has a future of kind of maybe getting a two-way contract again next year. The fact that we kept him in the organization, maybe that could happen. But regardless, we ended up signing David Duke Jr. to a two-way contract to replace him. And really, the reasoning makes sense because he's averaged 20 plus, 5 boards, 3 assists, and a steal and half a block as well in his G League career so far over the past 2 seasons. So where Serge Ibaka has only played in 4 games and had 9. And he's also a full year younger than Serge Ibaka. So when you factor all of those things, it just makes complete sense of why they signed him. They play the same position. They basically just got a better version of Serge Ibaka, unfortunately. But we will still get to see him snipe on the Austin Spurs, Ethan.
Yeah, it's a nice move. I'm glad we ended up getting to keep Serge Ibaka anyway. I don't know. Maybe David Duke Jr. will have some Spurs minutes down the line. We do kind of need some better backup point guard play, so his opportunity may arrive sooner than expected.
And hey, you never know. The last 2 Delaware Bluecoats, Ethan.
That's true. They got
The
real
last
minutes.
2, because we got him from the Delaware Bluecoats. I can't believe I forgot. So Brian Wright is continuing to farm the 76ers G League team. But we're not taking Mac McClung. We're never
No,
taking him.
no. I'd rather David Duke Jr. And
I
Tanner brings
agree.
up a good point. Big downgrade as a name.
Oh,
That's
very
so
true.
sad.
Very, very true. Very, very true. We'll leave that at that.
Yes.
The last thing that I also wanted to talk about, though, that just has been, and I alluded to this kind of in our game flow, was Victor Wembanyama moving to center. And although we've only had 1 win, and tonight was the worst example of all the positives I'm about to talk about, because we moved from 27th to 6th in defensive rating before this game. It's probably gone down a little bit after this
Yeah.
game.
A
But
lot.
before this game, it was 27th to 6th, which is obviously a huge jump for this team. And as we talked about, it comes down to getting stops because that's how we run in transition. Our half court offense just isn't there yet. And so that is super important for us to have success. And that's a big reason why we looked a lot better. What are your thoughts on it? I'll give you mine kind of after.
No, I think it's really worked. I've been a little surprised that he hasn't struggled as much as I initially thought he would against physical bodies. Even tonight, he had 17 and 13 and 4 blocks. Like he didn't necessarily struggle because of Valanciunas' size. He was able to handle. He got a couple blocks on him as well. One was really nasty. Um, and clearly the numbers don't lie. It's benefited the team, I think, offensively as well. Spacing wise, we're able to space around him with three and a half shooters, if you want to count
Mm-hmm.
Sohan as a shooter. And it gives Zach more of a free reign on the bench. He can help provide stability as well as playmaking and rim protection for them, especially with Charles Bassey being injured. So overall, I think it's been really positive for him, especially in the rebounding category. The only negative is when he is dragged out to the perimeter. Suddenly, we're very thin on the inside. As solid as Jeremy is as a defender, he is not a paint protector. He's not a shot blocker. So if he does get switched on to a big down there, unfortunately, it is barbecue chicken, and occasionally Victor may have to overhelp because of that. But overall, in the small sample size, it has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, I think it has been a lot better. And that was kind of just something I wanted to talk about because that was another big preseason prediction of mine, and also just a big talking point going into the season, whether he should play center or whether he should play the 4. And kind of what I wrote down was, like you mentioned, I was concerned about the physicality for Wemby. That was the main thing going into the year, and because of his perimeter skill set, that I thought he could play the 4. There's 2 sides of this that I think I've seen to start with this move. One, with the start of the season for Zach, I think that exposed a lot of things in the starting lineup and influenced this change. But the other thing is I've been happily wrong about the way that he's been able to physically hold up in this move and how he's been able to play. And that's kind of twofold also. One, it has to do with length because he doesn't have to put himself in the positions that a lot of other bigs have to put themselves in. whenever it comes to just rebounding and being physical in the paint, because he can kind of trail guys or be in different angles because of his length to go get boards or
Hmm.
even to block shots. He can be behind guys, he can be a little bit more to the side of them, where other guys are going to have to be more under guys. You know what I mean? Think of like
Hmm.
an undersized center having to match up with a 7-footer like Isaiah Stewart against, whoever, right? Because Wemby's so much taller than them, he doesn't have to put himself in those physical situations, if you get what I'm saying, as
Yes.
much as even I expected coming into the game. And that just has to do with his feel for the game, his skill set and his uniqueness and his talent level. So I've just been really happy that it has gone the way that it has, because I think eventually I did think that he was going to move there once he got some weight on him. I think we all kind of thought that Sohan and him were the front court of the future. But starting off, I was
Hmm.
like very adamant about that. And I've been proven wrong about it, but I'm very happy because it just shows that he has different ways where he can go get boards or, contest shots because of his insane length.
Hmm.
And also just his high IQ, but also, I mean, he's just been able to hold up with guys better than I thought as well. Which is, and he hasn't, it's never looked like in these situations that he's putting himself at risk for injury. I'm gonna knock on wood here, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes, I do.
that's the thing that is really like I've been really happy with, and I don't think it was unreasonable. I think that was the
Hmm.
biggest concern for everybody, when it came to him, if there was one thing to pick at. So to see that at 19 and at 210 pounds, which is what they have him listed at right now, that he's already able to compete like pretty well. And a lot of those concerns that I had and other people had, are being shown that, they're minimized by some of the other things that he does. It gets me so excited for what he's going to look like in 3 to 4 years when he's, grown into himself as a man physically.
Yeah, it's almost as if like if he is getting backed down or bullied physically, he's like, sure, okay, fine. I'm not gonna fight you. Get as close as you want because I'm still gonna block your shot when you eventually take it because I have an 8 foot wingspan and like you said, have incredible instincts, so he can literally protect both sides of the rim at any time.
Yeah, yeah. You summed up exactly what I was trying to say there, right there. And the other thing I had written down just in regards to the lineup was this is also huge considering Zach struggles on the boards. I
Hmm.
mean, it's just giant with the type of boards that Wemby's having right now and the blocks that he's having. We were texting about it. It's historical what he's
Hmm.
doing right now as a rookie and as a teenager in the league. And then of course, as you mentioned, spacing. And I think that also this move, despite today, obviously we're talking about mainly the other games that we've seen because today is just an anomaly. um it's helped out Malachi as well. Like this is, I think it's been better for Zach. It's been better for everybody who got switched up in the lineups, and Jeremy. I know I already saw some hate in the comments earlier on Jeremy and stuff like that, but at the same time, other than tonight, I think we've seen him be the main defender. I mean, you even saw it tonight. Yes, obviously we got cooked overall, but like he's the guy taking usually the team's best offensive player. We're moving him back to that role, which is something that fits his natural skill set. I think over the season, we're going to continue to see him progress. We're going to see all these guys progress. The point is, I think this move lineup wise, even though I was adamantly against it, or not adamantly against it, but I was adamantly for him playing the four and
Hmm.
having Jeremy at point guard to start the season. I'm really glad what I've seen with this change up because I think it's good for all parties involved. That's what I was trying to say.
Agreed, Jude. Nothing to add.